Well, for more on the European markets and how the German election could affect the euro, we turn to Ashraf Laidi. He's Chief Executive Officer of Intermarket Strategy. He joins us now from London. Ashraf, it's always good to see you. Why don't we begin with the rally that we're seeing in European stocks right now? Is this an assessment of Hurricane Irma, or is this an assessment of the lack of a missile launch in North Korea on the weekend, or is it perhaps something else?
Hi, Paul. Yes, it could be a combination of both, because basically the rally in the futures in equity futures starting last night was broad-based from the U.S. futures to Germany to the U.K. Expectations that probably the damage from Irma is not going to probably interfere with the monetary policy or the economy in the U.S. That is one aspect, and it's really a knee-jerk reaction upward here in equities. I think equities are probably going to have a sort of a decent, or in spite of all the talk about September, a relatively decent September before we push higher. I think with the German elections, I think at the beginning of the year, where people were talking about the diverging trade, basically the European Central Bank easing and the U.S. raising rates. The stabilization on the political front in the U.S. is improving, while refugees and so on and so forth in Europe is going to lead to the sell euro trade. But it's really, Angela Merkel is not only the leader of Europe, but probably as the most stable leader in the Western world, is about to go for victory for her fourth term, and consolidating intelligently power from the center to left, and it got the ECB about to taper the end of the month, and the upswing in growth in Germany is really pushing the euro and not really weighing so much on the DAX.
Ashraf, you've talked about the German election, but I guess one thing we keep wondering about here is you're sitting in London. The Brexit impact, any further commentary on it? What are you seeing from your perch where you are?
Well, this week we're expected to see the extent to which the opposition, the Labour Party, is going to able to put their finger into Prime Minister Theresa May's ability to speed up the repeal bill, which is a bill that is going to insert or replace the EU legislation or EU laws with the UK. And basically the extent to which the Labour Party are able going to do that, and I think that what they want the UK, this is very important, they want the UK to remain in the customs union and the EU single market in the transitional phase, and that defines a smooth Brexit. That's part of the reason for the currency traders out there that is helping the sterling dollar. But actually, it's interesting that you bring that up, because while we speak about Merkel and her elections, around the same week we're going to see a very important speech from Prime Minister Theresa May on how she intends to conduct the repeal bill.
You follow the Canadian dollar among other major currencies, and you think that the Canadian currency will rally from here. There has been, since we've last spoken to you, there has been a lot of very bullish news on the Canadian economy. What's your read on Canada's economy and our currency?
Maybe I should ask you, Paul, and your guest, what is happening with the loonie, the strongest currency of 2016. Here is something interesting that probably not a lot of people are talking about, but you asked about Germany, you asked about Canada, and guess what these guys have in common? Germany has a surplus, a budget surplus, not Canada, but they're both expected to ease fiscal policy. Ease fiscal policy? Cut taxes? Nobody else has been able to do that. So the Canadians have been able to pass those laws last year that actually helped the Canadian rally in front of the falling oil prices. And the Germans, Merkel, if she wins, she's expected to pass around 30 billion euros worth of fiscal policy. So going back to the loonie, the rate hike, the second rate hike, those excellent jobs figures, the fiscal policy. That is, and the normalization, when you raise rates, I do not expect it's not seemed as a tightening policy, but to normalize. we could probably see the US dollar falling below 120 and all the way towards 117.70 or 118. And for those who like to see the currency in the other way, that probably could raise the loonie to probably towards 85 cents.
Ashraf, always good to speak to you. Thank you very much, particularly for your view on Canada and the Canadian currency. That's Ashraf Laidi. He joined us from London.